Welcome back to Cooking with Knob. Today's recipe is essighium ex carne, or channeling my Italian blood, good old-fashioned meatballs, medieval style. This comes from De Honesta Voluptate et Voluditudine, On Honorable Pleasure and Health by Bartolomeus Platina. A link to the original text in Latin will be in the description below, as well as a modern translation of the recipe with the measurements we used. Keep in mind, all recipes are calculated in metric. You can find numerous conversion guides online to help transfer the grams into ounces or the weights into cups for our American audience members who continue to use the imperial system. Now, what do we need to cook this dish? Platina wrote the recipe to feed 10 guests. Well, we'll be feeding a family of 5, but 2 teenagers equal at least 4 adults. Thus, we'll keep the proportions. We need ground pork, Parmesan, butter, fresh parsley, marjoram, black pepper, ginger, and cloves. For the cooking broth, we need beef broth. In the original recipe, Platina required pork or veal belly. It was to be cooked and then cut up. However, given modern ingredients, it was easier for us to acquire ground pork and prepare that. So we made a slight modification to the recipe. Either method is fine and the end result will be the same. So in our case, rather than cooking the meat first, we will take the ground pork and mix it with the other ingredients. Platina called for aged cheese. He does not specify an exact type, so we were left to decide and went with Parmesan. A little bit of research into what cheeses were available in the medieval era versus what is available now. Parmesan is a safe bet. Parmesan was around during the medieval era and is a viable cheese to use. Since this is getting mixed in with the meat, we ground the cheese very finely. We then need to add a little bit of fat. Very often in the recipes, Platina will state if we must use oil or fat. Fat could be butter or animal lard. Shortening was not available during the medieval era. This was developed during the 18th century, so butter or lard is more historically accurate. You can always choose to use shortening, but at Knob, we try to keep the ingredients as historically accurate as possible. Depending on where you shop, the lard may be a little difficult to obtain. In Germany, all major grocery stores have lard made from goose or pig fat called schmaltz. When I've looked in America, it was difficult to find lard in some shops. You could always try a proper butcher if your town has one. They should be able to order the lard. Otherwise, you could look online or simply stick with butter. In our case, we're using butter today. We used fresh herbs and finely chopped them. You may always use dried herbs, but the flavor is usually not as strong. If you use dried herbs, take the measurements in the recipe below and divide the amount by 3. Some dried herbs are supposed to be more potent in flavor, though personally we find fresh herbs tastier. We take the parsley and the marjoram and we add those to our meat mixture. We also need to add the spices. In this case, we want to use ground black pepper and cloves, not whole spices. This is for a distribution of flavor. You can always use powdered spices from the aisle at your local store. Always an option. If you can though, it is far better in most cooking and baking in general to grind the spices yourself. Whole spices tend to contain natural oils. When you grind the spices, the oils translate to more flavor. The ground spices at the store generally been sitting for months, and the flavor is much weaker as most of the oil has dissipated. Think of the old cartoons where black pepper made someone sneeze. We thought this was just an exaggeration because we've worked with dried black pepper for years and never reacted. Then we ground our own black pepper. Oh, immediately our noses began twitching. This will impart quite a bit more flavor to your food. Also, whole spices will last quite a while after opening the packaging. They're still dried. For the ginger, we used fresh ginger chopped up finely. You can always use ginger powder, but the flavor is much weaker. This next step was a little more difficult. Platina calls for meal in the recipe. Being used to modern meatball and meatloaf recipes, we interpreted this as breadcrumbs. The problem is, Platina clearly mentions breadcrumbs in other recipes, so that did not quite line up. Then when we looked at another recipe about rolling a filling in meal, it made us realize this is probably what we consider a dough today. Platina states we need to work the meat into the meal and reduce the mixture to a thin sheet. It sounds like the dough adds some stability to the meat mixture and makes it easier to later roll. We're going to make an educated decision here and stick with fresh breadcrumbs. We would highly advise against using dried breadcrumbs for this, as you would lose necessary moisture. Tear up the bread into small pieces to mix better. After the breadcrumbs are added, go ahead and add the Parmesan cheese as well. Now, let's give the ingredients a good mix. Do not be afraid to get your hands dirty. As you notice, my ring is off because my hands will get dirty. Feel that ground meat squishing between your fingers. Oh, molto bene. This would be Franciscus's absolute favorite task. He loves getting his fingers dirty. Franciscus, would you like to join me?
No way in hell.
Don't be fooled, he loves it. Never have too much cheese. The more cheese, the better. Once the mixture is blended, roll handfuls into balls about the size of a chestnut. Go ahead and make up all of the meatballs first, rather than roll some of the balls, cook, and then roll some more. After the meatballs are all prepared and you've cleaned your hands, it's safe to put the wedding ring back on. Since we did not pre-cook the meat, we chose to gently fry the meatballs in the same fat we used in the recipe, which was butter. You're going to need your heat relatively high. Go ahead and brown the meatballs a little bit. You don't want to keep them in the pan for too long, or the meatballs will actually start to break apart and dissipate. Ah, look at this. They are starting to brown up quite nicely. We are getting there. In a pot, heat up a beef broth. Again, any method for making the broth should be fine. You can boil beef bones, or in the past we've boiled lamb bones with vegetables and herbs and made a bunch of broth which we froze for later. You can purchase pre-made broth or mix hot water with beef bouillon. All of these methods are suitable. Once the broth is boiling, go ahead and add the meatballs. And you only need to cook these probably just for a few minutes until the meatballs soak up the flavor of the broth. It really shouldn't take long, keeping in mind you did brown the meatballs previously. Oh, that smells good. Let's move some of that steam over here. Oh, that's delicious. Ah yes, this is boiling up quite nicely. So it shouldn't be too much longer now, and they are a good brown color, so they should be about ready. Ah yeah, very good. So go ahead and remove the meatballs from the heat. You can go ahead and take them out of the broth. We're just going to take a few for the moment. Oh, these look really, really good. My stomach's starting to grumble, it's a little bit hungry. And they smell brilliant. And just because, as we've stated before, you can never have too much cheese, let's go ahead and throw a little bit more Parmesan on top to top this off. Oh, molto bene. And it's that time again to dig in. Well, maybe we'll wait just a moment or two for the food to cool down to less than scalding hot. Mangia, mangia, fata grossa! On a side note, while not quite medieval, this would also go very well served over rice cooked in a mixture of water and beef broth. We did this with our original test recipe so we could feed the hungry horde we call our family. Let's see. Okay, let's dig in. Yeah, it's still piping hot. Okay, I think I can manage it. Oh, this is brilliant.
I want some too.
Oh, Franciscus, come here with those taste buds.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, mangia.
Oh, what's that back there?
What? Hey! Hey, bring that back! Okay, I think we may have a winner. I think he kind of likes it. Well, what do you think? Can you I taste the ginger a lot. What about you?
The ginger is definitely prevalent. Really, really good.
Okay, one more bite for me. A little hot. But good. Yep, and the herbs work well and the cheese. And overall it has a really good texture. It's a good meatball and the broth is really good. We've got another winner. We're eager to hear from our viewers who have tried this recipe. Please let us know how it came out and if you did anything differently. Or is there a medieval recipe that you are just dying to try out and you would like us to test run for you? Please leave us a message in the comments below. And be sure to check out our other clips such as our comedy skits. Also, we're preparing some educational clips for the future. If you are interested in knowing when we have new videos out, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And if you like the video, please show it with a like.